Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Randomly Random Reactions. Today we are revisiting Two Can Play That Game as adults. Because we all know, you know and I know, that we had no business watching that as kids. Let's get into it.
Welcome back. Today we are covering a movie called Two Can Play That Game. You'll have to listen to the soundtrack because the music in this slaps. Shantae Smith considers herself an expert when it comes to men. She knows what a woman should do to get the results she wants with them. She briefly leaves work to go home and check on a friend who's staying with her. On the elevator, a fugly man be staring at her junk. Shantae is a senior ad executive, and she's confident she'll always get what she wants. Her friend Karen fell in love with a bucktooth man named Michael. She changed him for the better, but even in his after, he was still built like a before picture. His confidence grew, and eventually he started making excuses about marriage. So Shantae made Karen break up with him.
First of all, can I say this is so nostalgic? This is so nostalgic. And can we all appreciate Vivica Fox in her young era? Oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous. Anyway, see, a dusty will always be a dusty. Typical example of this woman picking up this man from the streets, cleaning him up, and all of a sudden, he starts feeling himself and thinks that he's too good for her. Yeah, let's continue.
Her other friend Tracy knows her boyfriend is cheating, yet she hasn't caught him yet. He says men should be allowed to look at other women. Meanwhile, another friend named Deidre has to live with her jobless and broke-ass boyfriend. But Shantae considers herself lucky because her boyfriend is golden. So she gives him a surprise visit, and right after his meeting, they totally do the naste in his office. She and Keith fell in love the first time they met. They were both attracted to each other, so it didn't take long for the sparks to fly. Keith's best friend Tony knows juices flow down in the office, but Keith denies it at first. Then he admits that there's nothing in the world that can make him leave Shantae. Another hot chick named Connie shows up, and Shantae says hi,
I remember this.
even though she doesn't like her. She knows that Connie is a flirt and will do anything to get the man she wants. Yet it doesn't bother her that Connie has a meeting with Keith because she trusts him. I don't know, girl. Gabrielle Union is fine as hell. I wouldn't be trusting the trifling hoe, though. Shantae loves that Keith is very accomplished and has a very successful career.
Okay.
Shantae's friends listen to her advice because they've proven her plans to work every single time. She's also taught Tracy how to know if her boyfriend is cheating. Shantae also knows a cheater's top lie is that they are working late.
I'm sorry, but her friends are really questionable. Like, the choice of men they have, why is she friends with them again? I'm sorry, but what? The people you surround yourself with says a lot about you. But I think that another aspect to Shantae was that she loved being the best in the group, you know? She loved being the most intelligent, the most successful. That is, and like her ego drove her. That is something that she really prided herself in. She loved being the person with the best relationship in the group, the best man in the group, the best job in the group, you know? I think there are some people that are like that. Like, they like being the best. But we all know that if you are the most intelligent person in your group or the most smart person in your group, you need to change that. Because me personally, I like to learn from people. It becomes draining when you are the one who has to keep telling people what to do, teach people what to do, advising people. I want some advice, you know? I've gotten to a point in my life where I want the advice. I want to learn from people that are smarter than me, that are better than me, that are doing better than me, that are doing well, you know? Let's get back to the movie.
It's not a secret that Shantae's friends envy her relationship with perfect boyfriend Keith, so they understand when she can't go with them because she's spending time with her mans. Surprisingly, he calls and says he'll be working late that night. She knows it's a guy's number one lie if they are cheating, but she tries to play it cool and decides to go out with her friends. They all have dinner, and most of her girlfriends think Shantae knows everything. Monique clocks they asses, though, and is hesitant on agreeing with everyone. Her girls notice Keith dancing at the club with a beautiful woman when they are all expecting him to be at work. So as not to
How
stir
embarrassing
gossip,
for her, I
Shantae
guess.
brushes it off and walks to Keith and the new girl. She nicely says hi to the two, making Keith panic and causing him to go home right after. Shantae lies to her friends and says she knows Keith would be there with a coworker. She knows her girls would talk and panic if they think something's up. Monique says she would have slapped both.
See, she likes being the person who has the advantage in the group, you know? I mean, I also wouldn't have told my friends that I didn't know that I will be seeing him there. Like, what?
The hoe and the her man. Tony doesn't believe that Keith didn't have any intention of sleeping with Julia when he took her out. Keith explains that they were working late, so when she asked him to eat out, he agreed. Eventually, Keith admits that he lusted after Julia.
Boy, you were
Knowing
doing
it's
more
his
than
fault,
eating. You
he
were
wants to
literally
call
dancing with
Shantae
her on
and
the
explain.
dance floor.
But Tony tells him to wait the next day when Shantae's not that mad
All
anymore.
these games, come on.
Meanwhile, Shantae has already started her 10-day program to get back at Keith and make him behave. This is why I don't date anymore. People be playing too many
Exactly.
games. Also, I'm like 60 years old and fugly as hell. On day one, Shantae doesn't answer right away when Keith calls. When she finally does, she rushes him off the phone and asks to meet him later that night.
Pressure.
Tony is worried because it's evident that Shantae knows what she's doing. Because Shantae's calm and composed, Keith follows Tony's advice and admits that he was wrong to go out with Julie. Shantae says she understands, but then she breaks up with Keith and asks some time apart. Then she offers to pay the bill. Keith...
See, they say the one who breaks up first has the advantage. So instead of her risking him breaking up with her, she broke up with him first. She wields the power now, I guess. But I think the power is about to shift very soon. Let's see. I remember bits and pieces of the movie. This is just nostalgic. I'm just laughing here because, yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying this watch party.
Keith is taken aback, but he pretends it doesn't bother him. Then he says he'll pay for the meal.
Typical.
Tony says the dinner has given Shantae a psychological advantage. On day 2 and 3, Shantae spends time with her girls, knowing very well
They are
that Keith
playing
is bothered
games.
with the breakup. Keith keeps calling her, but Shantae never picks up the phone, even when Keith offered to take her to a concert. Instead, Shantae goes to
She's really
church
at
and
an
sings her heart out.
advantage.
Meanwhile, Keith does everything he can do to distract himself, yet fails terribly. When Shantae sees some of Keith's friends at church, she knows it's the perfect chance to put her plan into action. She pulls a guy named Trent into a long and tight hug,
I remember
making
this.
sure people can see. As she's expected, the news reaches Tony, and he tries to play it off, explaining it with...
I'm telling you guys, men are gossips. Men gossip more than girls sometimes. Like, I've been in work environments where the men just yap. More than the women in the office. See, she hugged someone at church intentionally, knowing that his friends will spread the news, will spread the word. And it worked. It worked like jackpot. She just hit it. Jackpot. They are basically doing her work for her, you know, because it will go back to her ex, the guy she broke up with. The news will definitely reach him, and that will make him more uncomfortable because already remember that he's calling her and she's not picking after she broke up with him.
Nothing more than a Christian hug, but the others believe that Trent and Shantae are flirting with each other. Shantae knows there's a possible backlash, but she's satisfied that Keith bombards her with calls one after the other. On day 4, Keith looks like hell.
Right now,
He
she's
doesn't
at
have
the
any energy
advantage.
to do anything or go to work. Tony says he looked like he didn't even wipe his ass.
God,
Shantae
this
still insists on
narrator.
not talking to him to have the upper hand. Unfortunately for her, Keith comes over looking so fine. Keith argued with her and managed to transfer his frustration to Shantae, flipping the situation in his favor.
Oh my goodness.
On day 5, Keith gets to brag about the night before.
See, now he has the advantage. He showed up at her door uninvited and threw her balance off. Now he has the advantage. I mean, all these games. Guys, look, just go for somebody who wants you, okay? Go for somebody who wants. All these games are just... Yeah, I mean, it's necessary to keep people on their toes. Don't get me wrong, hey, but all this. But now he's at the advantage. Let's see what happens.
Knows that he got to transfer his negative energy to his ex. That's why he's feeling a whole lot better, leaving her feeling bad. He and Tony celebrate that the argument made Shantae confused. On day 6, Tony takes his friend to a club to flirt with the ladies. Connie dances sexy and dirty with Keith, and a couple of times
Yeah,
Keith
she
had
was
to grab her
waiting for
hand to
him,
stop her.
right, to be single.
He tells Tony he's not yet ready to be with someone else, even though he admits that Connie's beautiful. Tony insists that Connie wants Keith, and that Keith should start dating other women to get over Shantae. Tony says Keith need to smack Connie's ass. Shantae also goes on a few dates in one night to distract herself. One of them looks sussy, while another looks like a beanbag. She doesn't like her dates, but has to see other people, because it's part of the 10-day program she created. On day 7, Karen announces that her boy...
But you know, I love this for her. I love that she's not hung up on him. You know, guys, if you can hear some banging noises, for some reason, it's 7:20 a.m. in the morning, and my neighbor has decided to, I don't know, start some construction work. I don't know. But yeah, as I'm saying, I love this for her. I love that she's not hung up on him. She's not sitting around mopping like he was, you know? I mean, it's just been like 2 days and she's already on dates. Because guess what? That is what he is doing. And that is what his friends are advising him to do. I'm not saying everyone should do this. There are some people that, yeah, they need time to research, to feel all their emotions and then let it go before they get back into the dating realm or the dating scene. But yeah, don't let anyone transfer their negative energy on you and then you become that. Never. I guess we're all playing this game, huh?
Friend Michael finally proposed to her. She reveals she owes it all to Shantae's 10-day program. Shantae is happy for her friend, but she can't steer away from her goal. So
I feel like that is a shut-up ring. Why are her friends happy for her?
Then she picks
The
a
man
dress
she's
that hugs her
marrying is
body
not it.
before showing up at Keith's house
Sorry, not
unannounced.
sorry.
Damn, Vivica A, beautiful AF. Shantae says she came over to drop off Keith's things, then she'll be on her way.
She's switching the
She tells
power.
him she only wants closure and nothing more. Keith can't resist and asks her to come inside. He
She's
says they're just
switching
going
the
to
power
talk, but
back.
they end up making out on the couch. Shantae knows it would end up like that, and she lets it go on until he's hooked. Then when Keith is so into it, Shantae leaves him hanging and
She
excuses
just switched
herself.
the power.
She apologizes for leading him on and says she has to.
Seriously, we had no business watching this as kids. I mean, what were we going to learn these things from and then play these games on? We had no business. Oh my goodness.
Home. On day 8, Tony expresses disappointment that Shantae once again managed to flip the script. He insists it's all about power
She did.
and that Shantae is winning. Keith can't care less, and he says he'll just call his girl and fix things with her than to play the game.
Simple.
Honestly, all this gaming is why relationships don't work.
I'm telling you.
The next day, Karen talks about how on day 7, she was able to get Shantae's plan to work on her man by leaving him with blue balls. Monique says she ain't never gonna do that because she doesn't like eggplants going to waste. Shantae knows the remaining 2 days are crucial and she has to get Keith back before she moves on to someone else. However, there are changes at work and it will definitely affect her 10-day program. Tony reminds Keith that he's a player, and instead of moping around and thinking about Shantae, he should accept Connie's offer to be her date. The pep talk works, and Keith thinks he has to show Shantae who she's dealing with. If Tracy Ellis Ross ever saw Tony like this, I don't think Blackish would have happened. On day 9, Shantae invites her friends to the Miller Draft extravaganza. She tells them to have fun and to also be on their best behavior because her boss is also there. The venue is packed with people, and she's surprised to see Connie walk in with Keith.
I'm sorry. Did you guys see what the waiters and waitresses were wearing at the work event? That didn't seem corporate at all. But hey, I ain't judging, I guess. Let's continue.
As her partner, Keith pretends he doesn't know Shantae, and he does everything so as not to look at her.
So he brought another woman
Shantae
to the
is
event.
disappointed because she expects that Keith will be begging for forgiveness, and not go on a date with another woman. When she confronts him, Keith explains that he's finally testing the waters.
Girl, why would he be begging for forgiveness? Like, you guys are exes. You broke up. You broke up with him. He's with another lady. Like, can we just move on? Why would he be begging for forgiveness? When you guys met, after you saw him with the woman from work dancing together and all that, he explained that they were working late and she asked him out for a bite and they ended up dancing, whatever. Like, huh? He hasn't really done anything to you, per se. Like, what? Okay.
Since he hasn't been able to talk properly to Shantae, he insists that he didn't know she'd be at the event. Because Keith says he's tired of her, Shantae talks to Connie about the situation,
Girl.
calls her a hooch. Connie gets offended. She says,
Girl, don't do that. Never attack the other woman. Your issue is with the man. The man, technically, she has an issue with no one because they are broken up. Like, they are no longer together. But anyway, generally speaking, your issue is with the man. Don't confront the woman you see him with or the woman he's cheating on you with or talking to, whatever. Like, that is so low. That is you going low, girl. That was a misstep in all her games. That is a big misstep.
she didn't force Keith to come with her and that it's his decision.
Exactly.
Connie thinks they should have a cheerleader off. Shantae gets so angry that she imagines punching Connie in the face. But she knows that it's still a professional setting and she doesn't want to make a scene. So she just walks away. Shantae's friends finally realizes that Keith and Shantae are having problems when they see him dancing
I don't
and
like
flirting
her
with other
friends.
women.
I'm sorry.
They want to defend Shantae and take matters in their own hands, but Shantae tells them she can handle it herself.
Exactly.
Peter is so close to punching Keith, but Karen and Tracy manage to stop her. We all need a girl like Monique
No,
in
we
our
don't.
lives.
No, we
Shantae
don't.
is so embarrassed.
No, we don't. We don't need a girl like Monique in our lives. Like, not Monique, but like her friend in this. No, especially at a work event. We don't need someone beating someone up on our behalf or fighting our battles, especially at a work event where your work or your job could be at risk. No, we don't. We don't. In this corporate setting, we don't.
She knows she can't back down now that she's on day 9. As part of her plan, Shantae fakes a
One
flat
more
tire to
day.
get a man to notice her. 2 of the men that stop are ugly AF. Then one stops looking like Johnny Bravo with the jaw of Jay Leno.
That is the one.
She takes him inside and makes sure that Keith can see them. Keith notices the new guy, Calvin, but he doesn't back down and instead gets Connie to dance sexy with him. Keith gets worried when Shantae listens intently to Calvin.
You know, I feel like the only reason why this is working for Keith, the guy, is that Shantae hates the girl he's with. You know, Shantae already hates her because we saw in the beginning that Shantae saw her and spoke crap about her. You know, Shantae already doesn't like the girl. It's like someone breaking up with you and then you start dating someone you know your ex really hates. That is why it's working, you know. But now she has flipped the script because she has found herself a really handsome, rich man that she's talking to at the party. Let's see what happens. Because I've honestly forgotten like what happens in all this. I've forgotten like how the movie ends. So this is a good refresher.
Even taking him inside the house to find a quiet place. He follows them inside and confronts Shantae, saying that she's flirting with Calvin
Now
just to make him
he
jealous.
is following
To
them.
rile him up even more, Shantae drops a condom for Keith to see. Tony tries convincing Keith that the condom means nothing because Shantae will surely not use it. But because Shantae slept with her on their first date, Keith knows there's a possibility that she'll sleep with Calvin later that night. For his last resort, Keith tells Shantae that she can't leave the party with Calvin. He warns that he'll take Connie home if Shantae leaves with the guy. She knows this is how it would end, but she's willing to take the risk to win the game.
Broken up.
So she decides to call his bluff.
Why are they both
Before Keith
bothered?
loses control,
Like,
Tony
I
reminds him
still
that
don't
he
get
has the
it.
choice to get over
These people are
Shantae
clearly still
and
in
find
love,
something
but
new.
anyway, this is just toxic.
Shantae expects to see Keith waiting for her in her house plan worked, so she's disappointed when she comes home to an empty house. On day 10, Shantae finds herself drinking at the club alone. She finally realizes that her 10-day program is still flawed because there are no rules in love. A woman approaches her, mentioning a guy who keeps on talking about his ex. To Shantae's surprise, she finds Keith moping and drinking. She
Okay.
copies his lines from the first time they met, thinking she'll get the results she wants. Then she asks him if her plan to get him back worked. Keith doesn't like the games and thinks Shantae's plan didn't work on him. However, he admits that he loves Shantae, and that is what will bring him back to her. They kiss and make out on the dance floor, both satisfied that it all worked
Exactly. In
out
the end, it's love that
What did y'all think
wins.
of this one?
Like,
I honestly got tired of the back and forth, but still enjoyed it back when it originally released. Yes, I'm an old fucker. Subscribe to watch more videos
just
like that.
man. This is just nostalgic, you know. For the nostalgia, we just watched it and it didn't disappoint, honestly, you know. The storyline is quite fun and entertaining. I remember when it first came out, like, it was really fun to watch. It was actually really fun to watch, but of course, now as an adult, it's just like, oh my god, all these games, like, especially because in real life, some people really play these games, and it's like, oh Lord, get a life, you know? Let me know in the comments, how old were you when this movie was released? Put that in the comment, and where are you watching from? I'd love to know that. If this was also a nostalgic moment for you, if you enjoyed this revisit of Two Can Play That Game, please do like this video and share your thoughts in the comment, and please don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.